Y'all, if you've got a zit on your face, do not put your concealer on like this to cover it. If you put your concealer straight onto your skin on an open wound or on a zit, you're contaminating your concealer. You're also using more product than you need, which is going to make this look cakey, especially as it wears throughout the day. You know I'm not gonna leave you hanging though. I'm a celebrity makeup artist and I'm gonna show you how to cover something like this super easy and so it still looks super natural. First things first, wash your hands and then put a little dot of concealer on the back of your hand so you've got a little palette to work from. Then you're going to take a very small brush. I got this from the craft store. You could also buy one that is called a precision concealer. They are a little hard to find, but the goal is to have a very small targeted brush so you can pick up a little bit of your concealer, just a little bit, and pat it right on top of the area you want to cover and let it sit there for about 10 seconds. Now all we're gonna do is take a synthetic blending brush. This one is by Delium Tools, the 785 brush. I have a link to it in my bio under my favorite brushes if you wanna check that out. And then very lightly up and down on top of that area that we covered, we are just patting until we see it start to seep into the skin. And then we will pat around the edges so that way we blend it into the skin. Now mine is a scab, so I'm going to need to do this one more time to get it perfectly covered. As you can see, it's looking pretty dang good, especially for something that has a lot of texture. And this will be so much less cakey because we used a fraction of the product that you would be using if you were actually dabbing the concealer on your face. This particular technique is designed to be done after your foundation, and rather than setting it with powder, which can add to the cakiness again, just use a good dose of your setting spray all over your face. Let me know if you have any questions below, and follow me for more pro makeup advice.
Random safety tip when you're traveling. So I'm staying in a hotel where it doesn't have a trash chute nearby, and they just told me, like, if you have trash, whatever, keep it outside. Because I'm traveling for work, I order Uber Eats to the hotel a lot, and then once I'm done with my Uber Eats, I just like put the whole thing outside my door. When I put it outside my door, I make sure to take off the little receipt tag thing that's stapled to the outside of the bag because that has your name on there. It sometimes has your phone number on there. So I take that out, I throw it away inside my room trash, and then I keep like the food trash outside. Just so if someone is like lurking, walking around, why do they need to know my name? Why do they need my number? You know?
What if you went on vacation instead of taking a flight, you took a cruise instead? And what if that cruise was cheaper than the flight? Well, that's a genuine possibility because I just figured out about a thing called repositioning cruises. Before I made this video, I was really thinking about gatekeeping this because I just figured out about it, and I don't want prices to jump because everyone's doing the same thing, but I really just couldn't hold this in, and because this account's about this, I need to nerd out about it for a second. So these big cruise lines, they have their fleet either positioned in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere based on where it is for summer, which means that when the fall comes around, all of the boats that are currently in the northern hemisphere need to go to the south. They need to go south because then they can continue to do their cruises where it is still summer. And the same goes for spring, where they go back up to the northern hemisphere to be able to experience summer in the northern hemisphere again. So what does this mean for you? Well, let's say you're in Los Angeles or Vancouver and you've always wanted to go to Santiago, Chile or Buenos Aires. Or you're in Hawaii and you've always wanted to go to New Zealand or Sydney. Or you're in Florida and you've always wanted to go to Italy or Israel or Brazil. Well, these cruise liners are going one way. Unlike normal cruises where they do a round trip and end at the same port of call, these ones have to reposition for the next summer. But while the quality of the cruises are actually better because they have less people on them and there is more to do because less people are taking up the amenities, they're cheaper. I'm talking like $600 or less cheaper. I found one from Tampa to Israel that goes to Spain, France, Portugal, and Italy, I believe, and then ending in Israel, that it was like $500, $600. And we're talking like 15 to 25 day cruises. So that's like $30 a day or less, including food. Now, obviously, there's not as much flexibility as a standard vacation, and you'll get a cheaper one if you actually book closer to the date of departure. But if you have the time and you have the flexibility and you see one of these port of calls is one of the places you've wanted to go visit anyway, why not take a cruise to get there? Especially when flights to those places might be over $1,000. Yes, you'll probably still have to buy a flight home, But, I mean, this is the same probably cost that you would pay for the round trip flight, but you get an entire 15-day cruise on top of that, maybe 25 days. I'll continue to post more information on these repositioned cruises as I find out more about them. I'm still kind of learning about them, but they look so cool. There's some really cool bloggers that talk about this that have used them to travel entirely around the world without using planes. I'll find out the blog name and I'll put them in the comments because I did a lot of research through their blog. But this just sounds awesome, and typically I'm not a cruise guy, but this looks like they'd be really fun. Brian and I now are already planning on using one to get to South America next year. So if you could do a repositioning cruise, where would you want to go? Here's how you found one-way repositioning cruises for under $500. I am just learning a lot about this, so bear with me, but basically you can just search on any of the cruise line websites and I'll show you how. So it really is as simple as going to like the Royal Caribbean website and then you type in, you'll go up here to the Find a Cruise, Destination, you can choose your dates if you want as well, Repositioning, Transatlantic, and Trans-Pacific. As you can see here, we have a Barbados to Miami. This is $404. This is Miami to Barcelona, which is $447. Fort Lauderdale to Baltimore, $517. This one is Cape Liberty, New York to Rome, Italy, $548. We have a Miami to Haifa, Israel, $681. That's a 17-day cruise. We have Cape Liberty, New Jersey to Southampton, England. That's $800. So they do go up higher. Just depends on what you want. This one is Miami to Italy via Portugal and Spain, $823. This one goes from Orlando to the Netherlands, $824, and then it goes up from there. Some of the other cruise websites aren't as specific with them, so you do have to do like Transatlantic, Trans-Pacific, and then make sure that the final port of call is not the same location. And then there are third-party websites that I found like Cruise Critic that do kind of do the same thing, if you feel comfortable booking through those. And the other general rule of thumb and thing that I've been learning researching this is that it is best to book last minute. You can still get these well in advance if you want to, but a lot of these repositioning cruises, because they have a cancellation, free cancellation before 3 months before a departure of a cruise, the best deals that you get are actually after that 3 months. So like right before the cruise is about to depart, 3 to 1 months ahead of time. If you book then, you actually get a cheaper deal because that's when they reduce rates, just trying to fill the ship with whoever they can. That also means you're more likely to get like free room upgrades at that point. That's what I know now. I'm going to continue to research it, and as I know more, I'll let you know more. Where would you take a cruise to if you were doing this?
4 hours. That's all you have. If there's been an earthquake and your legs have been crushed for 4 hours, do not try to free yourself. Otherwise, you could die. Let me show you why. When a body part is crushed, blood flow from the heart is blocked to that area. Therefore, the cells in the crushed body part are not getting any fresh oxygen, so the cells start to die, and when they die, they turn into acid. This whole process can take about 4 hours.
If you remove the object, all of this poisoned blood will go into the veins, into the heart, and cause instant cardiac arrest.
This is called crush syndrome. Wait for medical workers to arrive, they're going to neutralize the blood, and then it will be safe to move them.
For symptoms, remember the 5 Ps: pain, tingling feeling, unable to move, no pulse, white skin.
If you absolutely must move them, you can put a tourniquet on the body part, but this is very risky and you still need to go to the hospital straight away. Okay, my name is Kiram and I've got more survival tips for you. Follow me on TikTok if you want to live.
I have a solution for a problem that we've all faced before. Picture this, it's 3 a.m., you're bored and you want to redecorate your room. Instead of waking everybody up and causing a ruckus, a way to do it in your bed. This app called Realize Design. You make a scan of your room without having to move your furniture. After adding things like your window and closet, go in, add whatever furniture you have, and then boom. And look at this. It's an exact replica of my room. You're welcome.
One of my favorite tips. When proving dough, grab a tiny ball of dough and drop it into a glass of lukewarm water. When your dough is proved and ready to use, the ball of dough will have floated to the top.
Foods that are banned everywhere but the United States. Part 1 of a 2-part series. Little Debbie's Swiss rolls. I saw this everywhere as a kid. Norway and Austria have banned the chocolate, and the European Union carries it with a warning label. The food dyes used in the chocolate are known to cause adverse effects in children. Frosted Flakes. Banned in Japan and the European Union. Contains BHT, which is a flavor enhancer, which is being studied for its potential carcinogenic properties. Mountain Dew. Banned in the European Union and in Japan. Contains bromine, which can lead to memory loss, skin, and nerve problems. Coffee Mate. Banned in the US as of June 18, 2018, but still linger in the supply chain. And also banned in Switzerland, Austria, Denmark, Hungary, Norway, and Iceland because of the trans fat and hydrogenated oils in the product, known for its adverse health effects. Part 2 coming up.